Hey there, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are uncovering this massive, kind of hidden world that's literally buzzing all around us, every single minute of every single day. Yep, we're talking about the economy. Now, I know the word economy can sometimes sound like this giant, complicated thing you only hear about on the news. All those confusing charts and endless numbers. But honestly, you're already a huge part of it right this second. The snacks you eat, the apps on your phone, the clothes you're wearing, they're all cogs in this incredible machine. So let's just break it all down together and see how this whole thing actually works.
Okay, let's dive into this. Take a quick look down at the shirt you're wearing right now. Seems like just a regular shirt, right? But I want you to really think about it for a second. Where did it actually come from? You might instantly think, well, the store, obviously, or maybe my closet. But let's trace it back even further. Before it hit the store shelves, it was riding in a truck. Before that, a massive factory. And before that, believe it or not, it traces all the way back to its absolute origin in nature.
It's true. Literally everything we use starts straight out of nature and goes on this incredible journey before it ever reaches our hands. A fluffy little cotton plant out in a field eventually turns into your favorite t-shirt. The wheat growing on a farm becomes the bread on your dinner plate. Heck, even the metal inside your smartphone started out as rocks buried deep underground. Actually, it takes hundreds of different raw, natural materials just to build a single phone. And that whole incredible journey, transforming raw nature into the stuff we use every single day, well, that is exactly what the economy is all about.
So let's get into section 1, the economy around you, grouping the chaos.
Moving right along to section 2, the 3 main sectors, which are basically our building blocks. Okay, so the very first bucket we have is called the primary sector. You can think of this as the starting line. This includes any activity where we produce goods by directly using natural resources. It gets the name primary because, well, it forms the absolute base for every single other product we make later on. And since the vast majority of our natural products come from things like agriculture, dairy, fishing, and forestry, you're going to hear this referred to a lot as the agriculture and related sector.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we mean. Think about workers harvesting cotton directly from the earth. Growing and picking that cotton relies 100% on natural processes. We're talking good soil, rain, and plenty of sunshine. Mining for coal, or even fishing out in the ocean, exactly the same thing. You're extracting exactly what nature has provided for us. But hey, we don't just walk around wearing fluffy raw cotton, do we? No way. And that brings us to our second bucket, the secondary sector. This is where the absolute magic of manufacturing kicks in. The secondary sector takes all those natural products we just pulled from the earth and changes them into totally new forms. So we take that raw cotton, spin it into yarn, and then weave it into actual cloth in massive factories. Because this particular sector is completely packed with all sorts of different industries, it's also pretty commonly known as the industrial sector.
Here's another great example. Taking some simple earth and mud, which is a primary resource, remember, and manufacturing it into a super strong, uniform brick. That is pretty much the perfect symbol of the secondary sector. It's taking pure nature, adding a bunch of human labor and machinery, and creating something completely new and super useful.
And finally, we've got the third bucket, the tertiary sector. Now this one's a little bit different. The activities in this sector don't actually make any physical goods at all. Instead, they generate services that aid and support the entire production process we just talked about. Without this sector, I'm telling you, the other two would completely freeze up. It includes all the vital stuff, like the trucks that actually transport those bricks, the banks that lend out the money to build the factory in the first place, and the communication networks that let everyone coordinate. Because this bucket is all about providing services, we usually just keep it simple and call it the service sector. The postman delivering your mail, they are the people keeping the wheels turning. But it also includes all those essential folks who don't necessarily help make physical goods, but just help us directly, like your teachers, your doctors, your barbers, and even modern IT workers writing software or handling customer support in call centers. Now, what's really interesting about this is the incredible contrast you can see. On one hand, we are pulling resources directly out of nature. And on the other hand, over in the secondary sector, we are physically transforming those raw materials into a totally manufactured product. It just perfectly highlights that huge difference between just extracting something from the earth versus physically creating a brand new product inside an industrial setting. All right, section 3, connecting the dots, a web of interdependence. Let's just quickly walk through the literal step-by-step journey of your clothing to see how this all connects. Step 1, the primary sector grows the cotton. Step 2, the secondary sector takes that cotton and manufactures it into a shirt at a factory. Step 3, the tertiary sector uses a truck to transport that shirt, and then a retail worker sells it to you at the mall. If literally any one of these steps breaks down, you don't get your shirt. It's that simple.
Let's try a quick thought experiment. Imagine if, all of a sudden, farmers just flat out refuse to sell their sugarcane to the local sugar mill. What happens? Well, the mill, which sits in the secondary sector, has to completely shut down. The primary sector literally feeds the secondary sector. If they cut off the supply, the factory stops, the workers are sent home, and yep, you don't get your favorite candy. They absolutely depend on each other.
Moving on to Section 4, the rise of services and how economies grow up. Let's move to a wider view and see how this builds across the historical timeline. You see, in the initial stages of a country's development, the primary sector, which is mostly farming, completely dominates the economy. But as farming methods get better, we start producing way more food using way fewer people. That frees people up to take on new crafts and open factories, which causes the secondary sector to grow. And finally, as the country gets wealthier and everyday incomes rise, the tertiary sector, or service sector, just absolutely explodes. But you might be wondering, why exactly are services booming so much right now? Well, there are a few pretty clear reasons. First off, a developing country just needs basic services to function. We're talking more hospitals, more police stations, and more schools. Second, as farming and factories grow, they naturally demand way more transport and storage services. Third, as people start earning more money, they want to spend it on lifestyle services, stuff like eating out at restaurants, going on vacations, and shopping. And fourth, the massive boom in information technology has created entirely new service jobs that literally didn't even exist 50 years ago. And that's exactly why the tertiary sector has now totally replaced the primary sector as the largest producing sector in places like India today. Okay, Section 5, other ways to classify who owns what. Sorting by what people make is just one way to view the economy. We can also slice the pie by looking at who actually owns things, specifically dividing it into the public sector and the private sector. In the public sector, the government owns the assets and provides the services. Think of the post office or the national railways. Their main goal isn't always to just make a massive profit, but rather to serve the citizens. On the flip side, over in the private sector, individuals or companies own the assets and deliver the services. This would be like a privately owned factory, say Tata Iron and Steel, or even your favorite fast food chain. And for them, the primary motive is absolutely to earn a profit. We can even group the economy by how the workers themselves are treated. So there's the organized sector, where jobs are formal, they're registered with the government, and the workers have solid protections like paid leave and safe working conditions. But then there is the unorganized sector. This is full of small, scattered businesses, casual laborers, and street vendors. So the crucial point to remember here is that behind all of these massive economic numbers we talk about, there are real people. A huge majority of workers are actually stuck in the unorganized sector, which means they often face really difficult conditions and need far more protection and support. So when we step back and look at the whole picture, the miners digging deep into the earth, the farmers tending their fields, the factory workers assembling parts, and the office workers managing all that data, it all starts to make sense. The primary, secondary, and tertiary sectors aren't just boring vocabulary words from a textbook, they are literally interlocking puzzle pieces. Every single minute of the day, they are working together to build, feed, and transport the entire world around us. So we've traced the very shirt on your back, we've organized all that economic chaos into 3 nice clear buckets, and we've seen exactly how they all completely rely on each other to keep the world spinning. But here is the biggest question of all to leave you with. As this massive, interdependent economic machine just keeps growing and evolving, when you grow up, which sector will you choose to work in? Kind of wild to think about, right? Anyway, thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and remember to keep staying curious about the world around you.